Be careful. The house you are staying in is not safe, inside there is. Watch fast, this is the voice of the Lord, your God, there is a sound that only your spirit can hear. A faint hum beneath the silence. It doesn't come from outside your window. It comes from the foundation beneath your feet. It comes from the air and the walls that watched you cry. It comes from the corners where you whispered prayers, and the doorways you stood in, feeling something invisible brush past your skin. This house, the one you're living in right now, isn't just a place you're staying in. It's a keeper. A silent container of memories, of pain, of breakthroughs, of spiritual residue left behind by people, by choices, by energy, both yours and others. And today, heaven speaks not to frighten you, but to free you. Because what lives in your space begins to live in your spirit. And your angels, yes, the ones assigned to you since birth, have been circling your home. Watching. Discerning. Whispering between each other about the presence that lingers here. And now they have brought this to God's throne. They pleaded for one thing only, let them know. Let them feel. Let them walk in light again. So God agreed. And that's why you've been led here. Not by accident. Not by coincidence. But because it's time to reclaim the air around you as sacred. This message is not about the structure. It's about the spiritual climate that has grown unnoticed. It's about what happened in this house before you arrived, words spoken in anger that never left the ceiling, sorrow embedded in the floorboards, trauma echoed in the corners. Maybe it wasn't even yours. Maybe someone lived there before you. Maybe the pain you've been feeling doesn't even belong to you. And that's why God is speaking today. Because He doesn't want you to keep calling borrowed sorrow your own. He doesn't want you to wake up tired, thinking your body is the problem, when the atmosphere is just heavy with unspoken things. He doesn't want you to keep wondering why you feel watched, anxious, unsettled, when your spirit is just picking up the residue of spiritual energy that was never released. He doesn't want you doubting your joy, when what you're really fighting is the echo of something unfinished. But the moment you read this, something shifted. The angel standing at the edges of your room stood taller. The air softened. The invisible chains wrapped around the spiritual memory of the space loosened. And for the first time in a long time, heaven has begun the cleansing. Not with fire. Not with noise. But with the gentle breath of God moving through the cracks in the walls, lifting what no human hand could ever remove. Archangel Michael steps in now, not with a sword this time, but with a scroll. On it are written the original intentions heaven had for the space you're in. Peace. Rest. Healing. Light. God's plan was never for your home to carry haunting. It was for it to carry hope. But humans sometimes break what God designed. And now, Through your yes, God is rewriting the story of your space. You are not stuck. You are not trapped. You are not cursed. You are called. You are the one heaven chose to reset this atmosphere. You are the reason light has returned to a place where shadows once danced freely. You are the voice that will change the story this house tells. And it begins now. Stand still. Feel the shift. The floor beneath your feet just became holy. The air around your head just became blessed. The space that once held fear has now been claimed by presence. You didn't come to this house for comfort. You came to transform it. And heaven is now aligning the walls with glory. Because the house is no longer just a place. It's a portal of peace. Because you're in it. Because God is moving through it. And because the angels have been waiting for your yes. There is a reason the quiet feels louder in certain corners of the house. A reason why some rooms feel heavier, or colder, or emotionally overwhelming in ways you can't explain. It's not your imagination. It's not just the way the furniture is placed or the lighting sits. It's something spiritual. A residue. A memory. A leftover moment from someone else's pain or presence that was never released. But now, through you, heaven has decided to reclaim what was once forgotten. You didn't just enter this house. You were sent to it. Because this space needed a carrier of light. And heaven saw you were ready. The room where you sleep has become an altar. Not because you placed candles or scripture, but because your spirit said yes to healing. And now, everything around you is responding. The walls are beginning to absorb God's voice. The ceiling is soaking in angelic whispers. The shadows that used to linger at the edge of your mind are being folded into the light. And Archangel Michael, who has not left your side since this began, is moving through each space, touching things with a kind of authority that doesn't shake or shout, but transforms. He walks into your bedroom, pauses near your pillow, and kneels, not because he's worshiping, but because he's honoring the pain you've survived there. The nights you couldn't sleep. The thoughts you tried to fight off. The way you curled up just to feel safe inside your own skin. The tears that hit your bed sheets and disappeared into silence. Heaven saw every one of them. And not one was wasted. Michael places his hand over the mattress and says softly, "No more battles here. This place will now be a sanctuary of stillness. A place of revelation, not torment. A nest of rest, not chaos." And with that, the energy shifts. The air lightens. And the room remembers who made it, not humans, but God. Not for confusion, but for clarity. And now, that clarity is taking root in the very floor beneath your feet. From now on, when you lie down, your soul will rest before your body does. You'll feel your spirit melt into peace before your head touches the pillow. The air around you will carry warmth, not weight. Because your body was never meant to fight battles while trying to fall asleep. That was never God's design. And now, it no longer has to. Even the windows in the house, once filled with silent staring and silent aching, are now seeing the light differently. Because the darkness that sat inside your walls no longer has permission to stay. Your presence, the presence of someone chosen, someone appointed, someone awakened, is enough to reset everything. And there, in the center of the house, Michael leaves something behind. Not visible. Not touchable. But unforgettable. He places a spiritual seal on the threshold of your home. A divine marker. A declaration that says, from this moment forward, this house is marked by heaven. No more torment shall live here. No more generational weight shall linger. No more hidden grief shall breathe quietly through the vents. This space now belongs to peace, to presence, to purpose. Your kitchen will carry laughter again. Your living room will hold joy again. Your hallway will echo freedom again. Your bathroom will become a place of reflection, not regret. And every mirror in the house will begin to show you the truth, not your flaws, but your fulfillment. Because it's not just a house anymore. It's a temple. Because you live in it. Because you carry light in your bones. Because your soul said, yes, when heaven asked, can I move in with you? And now, all that was hidden in the walls, both yours and not yours, is being pulled out gently. Not to expose you, but to exhale you. To let the house breathe again. To let you breathe again. Your body is smarter than your mind ever gave it credit for. It has always been listening, always noticing, always feeling the changes in temperature, in light, in frequency. Every time you walked past a room and felt unease, every time you entered a space and your chest tightened, every time you tried to rest but your heart kept racing, your body was trying to tell you, something here is not aligned with peace. And now, because heaven has moved, your body is beginning to breathe in a new language. No longer the language of survival, but the sacred rhythm of release. You may not realize it at first, but it's already happening. Your shoulders feel less heavy. Your hands stop fidgeting. Your jaw relaxes in ways it forgot it could. The silence that used to feel empty now feels like presence. Because you are not alone in this space anymore. And you never really were. The angels just needed you to say yes, so they could begin their sacred rearranging. There is a spiritual warmth gathering now in the center of your home. Not from the sun, not from the lights, but from the glory that now dwells here. A warmth that travels slowly but steadily from room to room, touching everything your heart ever wept over. The couch you cried on, the floor you once laid down on just to feel the ground, the bathroom mirror where you questioned your worth, the corner where you once sat with your face in your hands, every space now becoming sacred ground. Heaven saw it all. And heaven remembers. But this time, God is not just remembering your pain. He is rewriting the energy of your home so that your pain becomes testimony, not a trap. There's a stillness now where restlessness used to live. The air doesn't resist your breath anymore, it welcomes it. You can open a door without sensing resistance. You can close your eyes without feeling watched by what can't be seen. The presence that once filled the walls with unease has been gently escorted out. Not with violence, but with authority. Because God's light never forces its way, it simply shines until the darkness disappears by default. And Michael? He's still here. Watching. Not with urgency, but with satisfaction. Because the work of heaven is subtle but thorough. You might not see a single object move, but you'll feel everything inside you shift. He walks once more through the home, checking corners, checking ceilings, checking silence itself, and then he whispers one sentence not to your ears, but directly to your spirit. Your body is not weak. It was responding to what it didn't have words for. But now, it is remembering its divine rhythm. And that's what begins to unfold. A new rhythm. A new awareness. A soft realization that your home is no longer a container of chaos but a conductor of calm. You walk differently now. You stand taller. You speak softer. You smile with presence. Because everything around you has made space for who you truly are, not the version of you that learned how to survive, but the one who was born to thrive. Your sleep will deepen. Your dreams will grow clearer. Your thoughts will slow to a pace of grace. Your mornings will no longer begin in dread, but with divine expectation. Because the house no longer holds weight, it holds wonder. The walls no longer echo what was done to you, they echo what's being done through you. And though no one else may understand what has happened here, you will know. You will feel it in your heartbeat when you enter the front door. You will feel it in the air as it brushes past your skin. You will feel it in the quiet that no longer screams, but sings. Because heaven didn't just pass through. Heaven moved in. And your house, your space, your sacred sanctuary, is now wrapped in a presence that protects, that provides, and that will never leave you. This is not imagination. This is not emotional fantasy. This is fulfillment. The kind that God orchestrates when a chosen one says, "I'm ready to live in peace." There are moments when heaven touches earth so gently that the world doesn't notice, but the soul does. And right now, whether you fully understand it or not, your home has become one of those holy places. Something has been shifted in silence. Something has been reordered, realigned, redeemed. And now, without you forcing anything, blessings are beginning to gather. Not just around your house, but within you. Because the home was never just about four walls. It was about the spiritual structure heaven was preparing around your body, your mind, your sleep, your spirit. And now, as the atmosphere clears, you're starting to feel it, the subtle changes, the fresh clarity, the calm that doesn't come from comfort, it comes from completion. You're no longer reacting to invisible unrest. Your nervous system is adjusting. Your breath is deeper. Your eyes are clearer. The tension in your spine has begun to release. This is more than emotional relief. This is divine restoration flowing from the outside in and the inside out. Your house is no longer echoing pain, it is now harmonizing with purpose. That's why the rooms feel lighter. That's why the shadows don't linger. That's why you can finally feel yourself coming back to yourself. And now that the energy has shifted, heaven begins to send. Blessings that were blocked begin to move. Delays that sat heavy at the door begin to dissolve. The angels that had to wait because the atmosphere was too thick with grief are now entering freely. You may start to notice things, unexpected peace in your conversations. Sudden clarity where there was confusion. Money appearing where there was lack. Apologies that come out of nowhere. Doors opening without you knocking. This is not luck. This is not random. This is the evidence of what happens when heaven takes over a space that once held sorrow. Your house has become a landing pad for favor. Not just for you, but for everyone who enters. Those who step through your door will feel it. They may not be able to name it, but they will pause. They will breathe deeper. They will find themselves saying, "It feels peaceful here," without knowing why. It's because the house isn't just clean, it's cleansed. It's not just quiet, it's consecrated. Archangel Michael has sealed every entry point with the kind of spiritual defense that no darkness can bypass. He's assigned guardian presence to the corners that once held fear. He's left a covering over the roof that shields not just your body, but your future. And now your home carries the signature of heaven on it. It doesn't mean you'll never feel tired. It doesn't mean you'll never cry again. But now, your house won't hold you hostage to heaviness. Now, it will hold you through healing. The water you drink inside it will feel refreshing in ways you didn't expect. The light that streams through the window will feel warmer. The food you prepare will nourish you differently. The prayers you whisper will land faster. The dreams you dream will become clearer. Because your body is no longer battling the air around it. It is now being blessed by it. The spiritual membrane around your house has been upgraded. It is no longer thin with vulnerability, it is thick with glory. The angels are now stationed. The air is now sacred. The path to your door has been marked. And your body will feel the difference. Where once you hesitated to come home, you now long for the stillness. Where once you rushed to escape, you now linger with gratitude. Where once you questioned your safety, you now rest in your security. This house, this space, this moment in time, is now the beginning of a completely new chapter for you. Not just in your physical life, but in your spiritual walk. Because when God moves in, nothing stays the same. And now, He lives here. With you. For you. In you. Through you. There is something sacred happening that even your eyes cannot capture. Not because it's hidden, but because it's holy. This house, this space, this quiet field of memory and presence, is now not just a place you dwell in, but a channel of heaven's voice. And because of your yes, your obedience, your spiritual alignment, heaven has begun to activate things you didn't even know were buried inside you. Hidden gifts. Silent miracles. Untapped grace. It begins with awareness. You start to notice your senses becoming sharper, but not in a worldly way. You feel atmosphere shifts with more clarity. You sense when someone carries peace or disturbance. You speak fewer words, but they carry more weight. You look in the mirror and something has changed, not your face, but the glow behind your eyes. That's not mood. That's not makeup. That is anointing being made visible. Because when heaven settles in your house, it doesn't stay in the furniture. It climbs into your bones. Into your walk. Into your words. And what used to be a body weighed down by unspoken exhaustion now becomes a vessel of revelation. You are not who you were when you moved in. And this is just the beginning. You will notice people coming to your home and sitting longer than they planned. They'll say, "I don't know what it is, but I feel calm here." They may cry without knowing why. They may ask for prayer, without knowing you were the one chosen to bring it. Because your house is no longer just for you, it's now a healing ground for others who are silently suffocating in their own. You won't have to do anything but live honestly and walk humbly. The glory resting in your space will do the rest. The walls have absorbed God's whisper now. The windows have memorized the rhythm of peace. Even the floor remembers your past weeping and now responds with comfort beneath your feet. The very materials that make up your space, brick, wood, plaster, paint, have been soaked in light. And the spiritual veil that once kept you in darkness has now been torn open. That veil was never made by God. It was made by pain, by history, by spiritual clutter. But Archangel Michael, under God's order, tore it with mercy. Quietly. Completely. And now that your home has been spiritually cleared, God has decided to assign favor to it. Not random favor. Not temporary favor, but generational favor. That means what is happening now will echo long after you leave. It means whoever lives here next, whether it's your family, your children, or someone new, will walk into blessings they didn't earn, simply because you broke the spiritual ceiling. The curse was cancelled. The heaviness was lifted. And now the blessings can flow unhindered. But God doesn't stop there. He does not only bless the structure, He blesses the soul that steward the transformation. That's you. And because of you, miracles will begin to arrive at your door unannounced. Ideas will flow with ease and divine timing. Resources will appear through people you've never met. Dreams you let go of will return with fresh fire. Love, real love, safe love, will find its way to you. Because you are now surrounded by a frequency of favor. Not because you chased it, but because you welcomed God into the very atmosphere around you. You did not ask for wealth. You asked for wholeness. And because of that, everything else will be added unto you. And now God is placing something final, something eternal, something sacred upon your house that no storm can shake. A spiritual banner. It's not seen with human eyes. But in the Spirit, it waves boldly above your roof. It says, "The presence of God dwells here. No weapon formed shall prosper within these walls." Healing lives here now. The light is permanent. This place belongs to the kingdom. And as this banner flies, your house begins to glow from the inside out. Not in light bulbs. Not in daylight. But in spiritual brilliance that confuses the enemy and comforts the soul. The home has been made whole. And so have you. You are no longer surviving in a place of silence. You are now thriving in a sanctuary of soundless grace. The war is over. The air is safe. The promise has arrived. And now, you live not in a house, but in a miracle.